33 kilometers off Brazil's coast sits an island so dangerous, the Brazilian Navy has made it illegal for any civilian to set foot on it. Snake Island. In its dense forest zones, researchers estimate one venomous pit viper for every square meter of ground. A single bite can trigger tissue destruction, internal bleeding, and kidney failure within hours. But the deadliest thing about this paradise isn't the snakes, it's why they're now vanishing. This steep, wave-battered rock is Ilha da Queimada Grande, a 43-hectare fortress of dense forest, dry scrub, and bare cliffs sitting 20 miles off the coast of São Paulo. From a distance, it looks like an untouched tropical sanctuary. Yet, international headlines routinely label this isolated paradise the most lethal piece of land on Earth. While that title is a journalistic exaggeration rather than a measured global ranking, the warning is based on a real threat. The sheer physical isolation of this compact territory raises a chilling question. What exactly turned this postcard-perfect island into a place where humans simply cannot survive? This island is the exclusive home of Bothrops insularis, commonly known as the golden lancehead. You won't find this pit viper anywhere else on Earth. Internet rumors claim that if you step onto the island, you are standing on one venomous snake for every single square meter. But the reality is slightly different. Actual scientific surveys estimate the total population is between 2,000 and 4,000 snakes. If they were spread out evenly, you would encounter just one snake every 100 to 200 square meters. But they don't spread out, they cluster. While the open, sun-baked rocks are relatively empty, the dense forest interior is packed. In those dark, leafy canopies where the vipers hunt, the terrifying one per square meter myth actually becomes a reality. This uneven distribution makes the island an unpredictable maze of venom. Around 11,000 years ago, post-glacial sea levels rose and cut this rocky peak off from mainland Brazil. This geological separation, which occurred within an approximate 10 to 12,000 year window, trapped an ancestral population of mainland vipers on the newly formed island. On this isolated territory, the snakes faced a severe survival problem. Ground mammals, such as rodents and marsupials, were completely absent. To avoid starvation, the stranded vipers had to adapt. They targeted seasonal migratory birds that used the forest canopy as a temporary resting spot. Over thousands of years, this prey shift drove a radical physical redesign. The snakes developed slender bodies, increased arboreal behavior, and prehensile tails to grip branches. They became canopy ambush specialists, striking upward at flying targets. To prevent wounded birds from escaping, their venom mutated. Popular claims suggest it acts up to 5 times faster than mainland venom, though researchers qualify this multiplier as a laboratory measure of chemical clotting speed rather than a direct clock on human mortality. Sensational stories claim this venom literally melts human flesh. The clinical reality is actually worse. It triggers rapid tissue necrosis and cellular liquefaction. Once injected, the toxin acts as a systemic wrecking ball. Fast-acting hemotoxins target the circulatory system, shredding blood vessels and causing severe localized swelling and purple bruising. At the same time, hemorrhagic agents disrupt the body's clotting chemistry. This triggers systemic coagulopathy, causing blood to leak internally from your organs. Within hours, the kidneys face acute failure as they struggle to filter the cellular debris of your collapsing muscle tissue. If you are bitten on this island, survival is a brutal race against the clock. Brazil's standard polyvalent antivenom can counteract the bite, But the golden lancehead's specialized cocktail is so concentrated that it requires massive, escalating doses to neutralize. Without immediate, intensive medical intervention, human organs simply shut down. On an island miles from the nearest hospital, a single strike is a death sentence. Because a single bite here is an absolute death sentence, the Brazilian government stepped in with a hard line. Under official naval decree, ordinary civilian landings are completely outlawed. You cannot buy a ticket here, and no local fishermen will risk their license to take you. The Brazilian Navy acts as the military gatekeeper, enforcing a strict maritime exclusion zone to prevent mass casualties. The only people permitted to step onto these shores are Navy crews servicing the automated lighthouse and vetted scientific expeditions. Even then, the protocols are grueling. Researchers must secure formal clearance from environmental authorities and the military. Every landing is a short, heavily restricted mission, not an adventure. Teams must submit detailed risk assessments, and they must be accompanied by a certified medical professional or a naval medical officer. Capturing or relocating the snakes is strictly forbidden. This enforcement protects human lives while sealing off a fragile, dangerous ecosystem. Near the island's highest point stands a decaying monument to human ambition, an abandoned lighthouse. Records confirm the Brazilian Navy built the structure in 1909. By 1925, they automated the light, ending permanent human habitation forever. But the official records hide a much darker local legend. Folklore claims the last lighthouse keeper, his wife, and their 3 children met a horrific end here. The story says they forgot to close a window, allowing a swarm of golden lanceheads to crawl inside during the night. Supposedly, the family was bitten as they fled down the rocky path to their boat. Yet, the archives tell a different story, or rather, they tell nothing at all. There are no death certificates, no official naval personnel records, and no contemporary newspaper articles verifying this tragedy. It remains a ghost story, a piece of Gothic folklore whispered by coastal fishermen. What is real is that humans left, leaving the island entirely to the snakes. But where history retreated, a highly lucrative illicit trade crept in. An underground network of wildlife smugglers routinely risks death to make illegal landings on these forbidden cliffs. These anonymous biopirates ignore the danger to exploit a highly protected ecosystem for pure profit. While most of humanity stays far away from this island, these poachers are driven by a thriving international black market. To wealthy exotic animal collectors and underground biochemical researchers, owning a golden lancehead is the ultimate status symbol. In 2022, Brazilian environmental enforcement officers with IBAMA intercepted a smuggling run, seizing 7 live vipers. Investigative records show these 7 snakes were bound for a private collector in Europe who had a history of importing illegal reptiles. Anecdotal market reports estimate that a single golden lancehead can sell for upwards of $30,000. While this is an unverified market value, rather than an official legal appraisal, the staggering price tag keeps poachers coming. This illicit trade turns a lethal biological reserve into a lucrative target. The human relationship with this island has come full circle. The very creature that forced humanity off the island a century ago is now being hunted and bagged in the dark, driven by the ultimate irony. The deadlier the snake, the more valuable it becomes to the collectors waiting on the other side of the world. The International Union for Conservation of Nature lists the golden lancehead as critically endangered. This official status exposes a stark biological crisis. The world's most feared island is actually home to one of its most fragile residents. On a compact 43-hectare rock, the species has nowhere to run. Every snake taken by a poacher directly destroys the reproductive potential of an incredibly shallow gene pool. Genetic analysis by Instituto Butantan maps a dangerously low heterozygosity level of around 0.25. The snakes are heavily inbred. This severe genetic bottleneck leaves the entire population highly vulnerable to localized disease outbreaks that could wipe them out in a matter of weeks. But humans are only part of the threat. The island environment itself is changing. Storm-driven landslides constantly tear down the forest canopy, stripping away the essential tree branches these vipers need to hunt. Changing coastal conditions and global climate shifts threaten to alter the migration patterns of the birds they rely on for food. If the seasonal bird flocks stop landing, the snakes starve. To prevent total loss, conservation institutions have stepped in. Instituto Butantan manages a secure, captive breeding program on the Brazilian mainland. In 2019, scientists successfully hatched 12 golden lancehead juveniles in a specialized facility, creating an essential genetic backup plan. The ultimate twist of Snake Island lies in its absolute isolation. The terrifying reputation, the military blockade, and the strict naval exclusion zone are the primary defenses preserving this endangered lineage. The quarantine protecting humans from a lethal bite is the exact shield, keeping the golden lancehead from disappearing forever. The isolation keeping us safe is the only thing keeping this lethal species alive. But as black market prices soar, the island's ultimate defense is slipping. The real danger isn't the venom anymore. It's what humans will risk to possess it. Would you dare step ashore? Let us know below.